Good morning and welcome to our Founders Day of 2025. Just a couple of housekeeping notices before we start officially. Firstly, please make sure that your cell phones are off now. And secondly, the ceremony is going to be live streamed, so you will have access to that stream after the event. And then we also have our very own Click Club taking photographs. Those two will be made available for you. Please note that the ceremony will just follow the program. We won't be announcing each item on the program. And then we'd like to just make one change to the program in that Michelle Paxton, a member of our Board of Governors, will be standing in for our chairperson who is not able to be here today. Right, I'd like to invite you to stand for the stage party. Thank you. You may be seated. We are now going to ring the Founders Bell. Each ring of the bell represents a decade of Westerford's life. We are 72 years old this year.
Good morning and welcome. It's my great pleasure to welcome everybody here this morning, and I want to particularly welcome the returning Old Westerfordians and the class of 1975 who are celebrating their 50th reunion coming through, and many other reunions do take place. But as I said to them, I had a short chat in the auditorium. Welcome home. I hope that it was a home from home for you when you were at school, and probably has evoked many warm memories walking around the school and the tour that you've had, and it's lovely to have you back with us. I want to welcome everybody streaming today. Many Old Westerfordians are streaming in from different places, and it's good to have you joining us as well. I particularly would like to welcome Dr. Gibbon, the second headmaster of Westerford High, who supports us very so well and lives just down the road in Pines. But Dr. Gibbon, lovely to have you with us. We've laid many foundations of Westerford, and it is our birthday today, so it is our celebration of 72 years as a school that has had a proud history. So lovely to have again everybody joining us, and as the program will flow, we'll have our Nilness Optimum Award, and I just want to particularly welcome our recipient, David Davids, who's amongst us and with us on the stage. We are very proud of you, Layla, and we'll be sharing a bit more why later. She is the recipient of our award, but it's lovely to have you with us this morning. I also want to welcome our staff and our pupils and the parents watching. You are part of the Westerford community and family. We are all part of the Westerford family, whether you're an Old Westerfordian from 1962, we've got 1965 here, I think is the earliest that we have, but we're part of a very wide family over the many years. So welcome to everybody. Let's enjoy this special occasion.
Love for my country by Sandile Ikone. My country is for love, so say its valleys, where ancient rivers flow, the full circle of life under the proud eye of birds adorning the sky. My country is for peace, so says the veldt, where reptiles caress its surface with elegant motions glittering in their pride. My country is for joy, so talk the mountains, with baboons hopping from boulder to boulder in the majestic delight of cliffs and peaks. My country is for health and wealth. See the blue of the sea, and beneath the jewels of fish, deep under the bowels of soil. Hear the golden voice of a miner's cry for praise for my country. My country is for unity. Feel the millions, see their passion. Their hands are joined together. There is hope in their eyes. We shall celebrate.
On behalf of the entire school community, I would like to express appreciation for the school and all who work in it. We appreciate the opportunities that Westerford provides for each of us and for the rich heritage established by the generations that came before us. Conscious, though, of the inequalities of our past and the need to build an equitable society. We acknowledge especially the vision of the founders of the school and the work and example of all Old Westerfordians. We commit to continue to work together for the good of our school and our country, and for the happiness of all who learn and work here. We will continue to support and defend the Constitution of South Africa. We will work to heal the divisions of the past and contribute towards an inclusive, non-racial, non-sexist society based on democratic values, environmental and social justice. And we will strive to build a united South Africa that takes up its rightful place in the family of nations. May God bless Africa, Nkosi Sikeleli Africa, Morena Boluka, Sechaba Sahisu, Kot Sien Africa.
Westerford owes its origin to the growing need for secondary schooling in southern suburbs in 1950. The school was opened on the 21st of January 1953 in the temporary premises in Dean Street. During the second term of that year, the 29 members of the foundation class, amidst great excitement, carried their desks down Dean Street and into the Klein Westerford estate, where their classrooms were fashioned in the old homestead.
The site is truly a historic one. In pre-colonial times, it was a wooded mountainside where wild animals roamed among the forest and fynbos. The nearby banks of the Liesbeek River offered water and grazing to Khoi pastoralists. The arrival of colonists brought great changes to the site, not all of which were beneficial to either the environment or the Khoi, but the site became firstly a productive farm and then a gracious homestead. Reminders of this past include the Westerford outspan in the front of the school, where travellers outspanned their animals and allowed them to graze and drink before crossing the Liesbeek River at the ford at the bottom of Dean Street.
When the present school buildings were constructed, great pains were taken to preserve the chestnut trees which date back to the time of the first Dutch settlers and stand as symbols of the strength and character that is now associated with Westerford. The beauty of the site, which with its magnificent view of the Devil's Peak, inspired the design of the emblem and the school colours.
Mr. Noel Taylor, who served as principal from July 1953 until 1976, was a man of great vision who was fired with enthusiasm for Westerford. He, along with his wife Muriel, and the other founders of Westerford, believed that the school would develop from these humble beginnings into a magnificent institution commanding respect far beyond the bounds of the Cape Peninsula. The staff and pupils who have followed the founders have endeavored to translate this belief into reality.
Today we are welcoming Old Westerfordian Lance Clark, class of 1975 as our OW guest speaker. After Westerford, Lance completed his education with an honours degree in psychology at UCT and a master's in clinical psychology at the University of Natal. His career has been defined by a deep commitment to both individual well-being and national progress. His work as a clinical psychologist has spanned high schools, Lentzergeer Psychiatric Hospital, and private practice. However, it was his role in integrating previously warring factions, MK, APLA, and the SADF, into the newly formed South African National Defence Force between 1992 and 1994 that earned him national and international recognition. For his efforts in helping to prevent future conflict, he was honored with the 4 Outstanding Young South Africans Award in 1995, followed a year later by global recognition as one of the outstanding young persons of the world. For the past 30 years, Lance has led his own corporate training company, facilitating culture change, particularly in the field of safety in mining. His impact is evident in the industry's historic achievements, including his company's work with Sibanye Gold, which went from 20 fatalities in 6 months to achieving an unprecedented 13.4 million fatality-free shifts, a record-breaking milestone in deep-level gold mining worldwide. Beyond his professional accomplishments, Lance is an avid hiker and nature enthusiast. Please join me in welcoming our Founders Day OW speaker, Lance Clark.
So it may be hard for you to believe that we grey-haired Madala O'Topi is visiting you today, unbelievably, also older than some of your teachers, were once young and idealistic and fiery-eyed like you. Unlike many others I speak to from different schools, I think we mostly really enjoyed our years at Westerford. We had some amazing teachers who tolerated and encouraged our creativity. I think of, for example, Mr. Post, the Latin teacher, who we dressed up in white togas for on the Ides of March and assassinated with wooden daggers. Or Glenn Houston, our history teacher, who, when teaching about Russia and the Russian Revolution, I announced at the door it was the age of creeping revolution, and all of us crept in the door to our class. So mostly our teachers survived our matric class of 1975 without too much trauma. So 50 years later, and looking back at our lives, do we have any regrets? In her book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, Nurse Bronnie Ware noted down the main regrets expressed by people in hospice in the last weeks of their lives. Number 1, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Ware says that this is the most common regret of all. Number 2, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Of course, this may be a wish that some of you are having already 50 years before the time, but this was an important one. I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Where it says they settled for a mediocre existence and never became who they truly meant to be. Number 4, I wish I'd stayed in touch with loved ones. That's one of the main regrets at the deathbed is I wish I had kept in touch with my friends. I wish I'd expressed my love to them. And then number 5, I wish I'd let myself be happier. As I look up in these hallowed halls, I see the honours boards and you'll see my family, some of them around here, because I come from a relatively small family. There are only 7 of us. My father remarried, had another 2, so that comes to 9. And when I was in matric, there was actually a block. I was in matric, Guy was in standard 9, Hugh was in standard 8, Erica was in standard 7, and Sean was in standard 6. So we had a clean sweep of all standards. I mentioned my beautiful youngest brother, Sean, who died 2.5 weeks ago. Sean wasn't just my brother. He was also my best friend, my confidant, my partner in cycling, and my most constant visitor and visitee. He'd always come with his daughter and son, 6 years old, 2 years old now, and come to rest. I'd basically whip them up with chocolates and ice cream and marshmallows, and thank goodness deliver them back to him. So he thought he was getting a rest, but in the end, he had no rest at all. So 3 years ago, Sean helped save my life, literally, and I shall be forever grateful. After a long but not very happy marriage, full of regrets, I was now living alone in beautiful Westerford, just northwest of Johannesburg. And just recently, actually before he died, he told me that he'd been sent by the family to bring me back to Cape Town. I'd been out of Cape Town for 29 years. So he and his wife Vinia and the kids came and stayed with me, and they met a 3-legged monkey called Driepoot. And I was able to sit within about a meter of Driepoot, and we just respected each other totally when he came with his troop. They also met these 12 Nyala buck that would come and wait for me. I was able to scratch their heads. Sometimes after a while I could tell who were the males and the females, because top of the head suddenly they start to sprout horns. And okay, the visits did include food that I gave to them, so they were coming for food as well, but just for the connection as well. And Sean and his family, charmed by the animals sent to fetch me, almost stayed themselves in Westerford. So much for that. But I did return to Cape Town about 3 years ago to a house he found for me to stay in his estate in Noordhoek. And the move basically saved my life, changed my life. From being an unhappy husband, yes, they do exist, I became a favorite uncle, close to family, close to nature, back at last in amazing Cape Town. I became a member of the lycra-clothed fuddy-duddy cycling buddies gang, which was Sean, Guy and myself, together with a chance to escape from a while, from bosses, kids and wives, often not too successfully. I lost weight, looked good, and looked so much better. I was at last was happy after very many years. And Sean commented in a speech at a recent birthday of mine that I'm the only person who knows that as I get older, I look younger and more handsome. Now, you're probably going to disagree with the handsome part, but the younger is definitely true. So Sean was fun-loving, loyal, compassionate, fit, a real mensch, as they say in Yiddish. And then suddenly and unexpectedly, 3 weeks ago, on Monday the 7th of February, he died. No time to tell him I loved him again. No time to make up for the 29 years I've been away from family in Johannesburg. No time to go on another hike, another cycle, another weekend away. We thought he'd live forever. I wish I'd seen more of him when I was in Johannesburg. I wish I had. I wish. So, what have we learned from this tragedy? What can I impart to you as youth that may be of use? Not just from my background as a clinical psychologist, but from somebody who knows the pain of loss and of regret. How can we live a life that does not end up full of regrets? Number one, recognize that life is fragile. If we need to express our love, our gratitude, our needs, do it now. And be there for others, fully, despite our fears. For we all are a heartbeat away from both great love and death. So be fully here, so we can be fully with ourselves and the ones we love. Never stop telling those you care about that you love them. It's okay to feel, for when we feel fully with love and support around us, we heal and we grow. So allow yourself to feel without censoring yourself, realizing it's okay even to feel angry, upset, guilty, full of grief. That's pretty normal, we're human. And also allow yourself to feel happiness and joy and love, to see and know beauty and wonder. As humans, we're capable of it all. We're not just beings of the mind, we're also of the heart and body and soul also. So, I've been successful in many ways, as you may have heard from my introduction, but success is too often mentioned and measured in awards, in money, in status. All those people in the hospice, wealthy or not, high status or not, successful or not, all of them had the same regrets. So I want to turn these 5 regrets into 5 challenges for your life and the long lives you have ahead of you. 1, have the courage to live a life true to yourself, not the life others expect of you. 2, love your work by doing the work you love. And know when you have worked enough and it's time to play, and then really play. 3, have the courage to express your feelings. 4, make time to keep in touch with the people that you love, both family and friends. And finally, 5, give yourself permission to be gratefully, truly happy. Maybe all we can do in a world that is becoming more difficult and more polarized is to be more gentle with ourselves and with others, to love more ourselves and others, to be a good person, a mensch, for that is what truly counts. As Maya Angelou, the famous American writer, said, people will forget what you said to them. They will forget what you did for them, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So, as an ode topic, I'll leave you with this challenge. What will you commit yourself to do differently today that will change your life? So that when you're 70 or 90 or 150 or 250 with all the advances in medical technology, not sure how long you live that long, but anyway, you'll know that you have lived a great and beautiful life, free from regrets. Thank you.
On behalf of everyone here today, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to Mr. Lance Block for taking the time to join us on this special occasion and for sharing his insights and experiences with us. As an old Westerfordian from the class of 1975, you have a deep connection to our school, and it is truly inspiring to hear from someone who once sat where we are sitting now. Your mentions of regrets, missed opportunities, and the impacts of others, especially of your brother, may he forever rest in peace, were particularly beautiful. It is always a privilege to learn from those who have walked the path before us, and your stories remind us of the values and traditions that make Westerford such a special place. Thank you once again for being with us today, for your inspiring words, and for your continued connection to our school. We hope you've enjoyed returning to Westerford, and we wish you all the best.
The Non-Lucy Optimum Award is presented annually to an old Westerfordian who has excelled in their particular area of work, or, in the case of this year's recipient, in sport. It is with immense pride and admiration that we acknowledge today Leila Davids, an exceptional old Westerfordian who has excelled in hockey, embodying, as she has done so, determination, humility, kindness, and respect. In her 5 years at Westerford, 2015 to 2019, Leila's approach to school life was a well-balanced one. She was academically focused and unwaveringly dedicated to her sport. Throughout her school days, at all age group levels, her exceptional talent on the hockey field earned her selection to the prestigious Western Province A teams. Notwithstanding these and other achievements, Leila remained grounded, consistently prioritizing the needs of her Westerford teammates over her own personal goals, and clearly valuing team success over personal accolades. Captain of the first team, Leila's gracious demeanor was complemented by endless patience. This enabled her to nurture the growth of those around her. She possessed the unique gift of instilling confidence in her teammates, expertly drawing out their strengths and fostering a cohesive unit that thrived on mutual support. After matriculating with distinctions in English, Afrikaans, life sciences, accounting and life orientation, she went on to study BCom Financial Management at Stellenbosch University, and thereafter did her BCom Honours in Strategic Management. On her arrival at the university, she faced the daunting challenge of securing a spot in the esteemed Marty's first hockey team. She successfully competed against elite hockey players who had come to Stellenbosch from across the country, earning her place in the first team during her second academic year following the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic may have disrupted play and plans, but it did not dampen Leila's passion or her perseverance. This marked the beginning of her journey towards the national sporting arena. 2022 was a breakthrough year for Leila. She was selected to represent South Africa at the Under-21 Junior World Cup tournament, hosted in Potchefstroom, the first time a Junior World Cup had ever been held on South African soil. In 2023, she joined the South African women's squad, thereby achieving a significant milestone in her senior hockey career. In November that year, she debuted for the senior women's team, playing against Germany in the tournament held in Stellenbosch. 2023 also saw Leila's determination bring her success on the indoor hockey court. She made her debut for the South African indoor team at the Nkosi Cup, where she showcased her versatility and her many skills. All her hard work and many sacrifices further paid off this year in February, when she participated in the Indoor Hockey World Cup in Croatia. On this particular world stage, she was named Player of the Match in the clash against Australia. This impressive timeline of achievement speaks to Leila's ability to stay focused and determined to reach her goals. She has solidified her position as a force to be reckoned with in hockey. Her sheer determination to succeed earned her senior national colours in indoor hockey, testament to her talent and to all the innate positive attributes with which she is blessed. Her journey, which has led to her representing South Africa, has been and is inspiring. A woman of integrity, humility and kindness, she serves as an exemplary role model within the hockey community and beyond. We are incredibly proud of Leila, not only in what she has accomplished, but in how she has done so. She has given and gives nothing but her best, which makes her a most worthy recipient of the Westerford High School Num Nisi Optimum Award.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Anderson, for such a wonderful introduction. Firstly, I am extremely honored to be standing here today and receiving such a prestigious award, because not so long ago, I was sitting in the crowd as a student and looking up to these amazing people getting recognized for their achievements on Founders Day. It never ever occurred to me that I'd be on the receiving end of this award, so today feels like a full circle moment for me. As to why this award truly means a lot to me, Nil Nisi Optimum means to give nothing but your best. And for me personally, that's something I've been trying to do every day of my life. So a bit of background about myself. I grew up in Study State Athlone, and for those of you that don't know, it's a previously disadvantaged community where not a lot of people are afforded the opportunity to study outside of that community. So coming to Westerford was a privilege. My older brother was actually the first to get accepted into Westerford, and it was extremely overwhelming because he was one of the very first in our community to attend the former Model C school. That really set the tone and a good example for myself and my sister, because we both attended Westerford. And she's actually in matric looking at me acting like she doesn't know me, but it's fine. And then for my hockey journey, my private school didn't offer hockey as a sport, so I started playing hockey when I was 8 years old at Central Hockey Club in Athlone, and from then I immediately knew that I found my passion. I then went on to make school and club first teams, including the Westerford's first team where Mr. Naden and Mr. Croxford was my coach. And then I eventually went on to make the provincial and national teams. Looking back at this and saying it might sound like it was an easy and smooth sailing journey, but I can confirm it was the complete opposite. There were lots of blood, sweat and tears shed behind the background, and it was a mentally, physically and emotionally exhausting journey that I'm so grateful for because it's taught me so much about myself and what I'm capable of doing and achieving. I remember when I was 13, I attended my first Western Province hockey trials, and I was the only representative from my primary school and my club. So nobody wanted to sit with me or talk to me. Because hockey is a white-dominated sport, I was one of very few people of color to make it to the final rounds of trials. And I remember feeling completely inferior and like I didn't belong at all. However, with the support from my family, especially my parents who are here with me today, I managed to build the confidence and resilience over the years, to believe in myself and trust that all my hard work and efforts would eventually pay off, whether it's on the hockey field or with my studies. Coming to Westerford just reinforced that belief, and I'm still very grateful for my time spent here because it's helped shape me into the person that I am today. Because Westerford wasn't known to be a hockey-focused school, a lot of people looked down on me when I mentioned that I was from Westerford. And as much as it felt like an insult at the time, it was actually a driving force and it motivated me to work even harder and prove people wrong. And hopefully also change the perception around attending certain schools to make a provincial and a national team. If I had to look back and describe my hockey journey, I would definitely describe it as a bumpy roller coaster ride because there's been so many highs, but also so many lows. I remember having this anxious pit in my stomach before every round of trials, being a nervous wreck before my international debut, being the first SA woman senior hockey player to play in full hijab on an international stage, and also just having constant doubts about my abilities. However, I also remember the memories I've made, the lifelong friendships and connections I've built with different people, the invaluable life lessons it's taught me, and more recently, as mentioned, making the Indoor Hockey World Cup team and having the opportunity to represent my country and my community on the big stage. Despite all the tough times, it was so worth it. It still feels surreal standing here and having the privilege of sharing my story with you all, because never once did I think my story was ever important enough to share. If I can leave you all with one piece of advice, it's to keep going. I know you might be sick of this, but success doesn't come without hard work. So put in the effort, make the sacrifices, and believe that you are capable of doing anything you put your mind to, irrespective of where you're from. If your dreams don't scare you, they're simply not big enough. To my fellow Westerfordians, I hope you're not falling asleep. I wish you well on your journey ahead, and I look forward to hopefully hearing you all share your story one day. Thank you.
On behalf of all present, we promise to be loyal to Westerford, trying always to do nothing but our best.
Egameni labo bonke abakhoyo, siyathembisa ukuthembeka kwiWesterford. Sizama ngalo lonke ixesha ukuqwesa.
Namens almal hier vergader, beloof ons om loyaal aan Westerford te bly en om ons allerbeste te gee.